Now we got to do quadratic formula stuff.
A squared, no, not sorry, that's Pythagorean. Y equals mx plus b, is that it? Is that the y equals mx plus b stuff?
No.
No?
No, that's linear stuff.
Oh, oops. Y equals x squared? That's quadratic, I think. Yeah.
I'll show you. I'll give you an example of what they're asking you for.
I remember that Lori did that last year. This year. So.
The polynomial p of x has 4 distinct zeros. 4 distinct zeros.
I don't want to do the hard one first.
That's not that hard. Zeros are just for crosses.
So how do you figure out how many zeros of a polynomial you have?
How many times across the x-axis?
So why did you miss that question?
Did I miss that question?
That's why it's telling us to redo it.
Oh. I don't remember missing that question. If I did, that was dumb of me.
Yep.
Looks like that one.
Yep. Well, okay, that makes that easy. Okay, well. Yeah.
It's the only quiz test of the year that I got 100 on.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, this is weird. Let's do a couple of these in here.
Quadratics are the U ones, right? They're like this.
Yes, they're shaped like parabolas.
That's what they're called.
Okay. So
this is a big book.
Let's say, what happened to my, I guess I'm just re-going back in the morning. Alright, well, let me draw something.
Okay.
Let's say...
Don't you have a graph thing on there? Pretty fancy.
I don't feel like it, man.
I got you. Look at that fancy parabola. Vertex.
How do I want to do this? Let's do it this way first.
Oh, this is ax plus bx plus c. Yeah.
So let's say this is 4, 2, negative.
Negative 2, yeah.
And let's say that this is 6, 0. And this is 2, 0. Write the equation for that parabola.
Okay. See, if I paid attention to class, I would know which one was A, B, C, and stuff like that. But I didn't, so I don't know.
Okay. The general form for the parabola is y equals
ax plus bx, right? Plus c.
X minus h squared plus k.
Okay, that's not at all. Alright.
And there's an a here.
Okay. Well, I don't remember this at all.
You don't remember this at all?
I remember looking at parabolas, remember doing stuff with equations with them, but I don't remember this specific equation at all.
Okay.
I never remember. Yeah, okay, but yeah.
So, what we know right now is we know that h, that number is h, and that number is k.
Okay, yeah, this is all new to me.
And what we don't know is we don't know what that a is.
Okay.
But we do have x and y there and x and y there because I know 2 other points, right?
So vertex is always h and k in terms of x and y.
Vertex is always hk. So in general, this would be y is equal to a times x minus, it's always the opposite, 4 squared, and then that is minus 2 because that stays the same.
You said it's always the opposite? What do you mean by that?
It's always opposite inside the parentheses. What's the h there? Is that positive or negative?
Positive.
What is it inside of the parentheses?
Negative.
That's what I mean by opposite.
The h is always opposite. The k is not.
The stuff that's inside the parentheses is always opposite.
Oh, okay. I got you. I thought you meant the parentheses.
So now I need to solve for a.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to use this point right here, as my x and y value to figure out what a is.
Sounds good.
So what's y equal to?
Y is equal to, wait, what is that? 0?
0. Because it's on the axis, right? It's a 0.
I just couldn't tell if it's like 1.
So that's 0 equals a. What's x equal to?
6. Minus 4 squared. Minus 2.
So what's 6 minus 4?
So 2 squared minus 4 minus 2 is 2.
6 minus 4 is what?
2.
Squared is?
2 squared is 4.
So this would be 4a, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, okay, never mind. I keep forgetting the a's there.
Minus?
2.
And that's equal to 0, so what's a equal to?
Okay, gotta add 2 on both sides. That's 2 divided by 1/2.
So the general equation from this picture would be y equals 1/2 x minus 4 squared minus 2. That would be the equation that would be on the SAT.
So that equation would be on the SAT.
They'll have a bunch of different equations and they'll say which one defines that particular quadratic.
Okay, and you have to use a parentheses x minus h plus squared plus k.
So that's one of those things that you're going to have to memorize.
Okay.
Because you need to know that formula.
Next time I come here, I'll bring down. I'll buy myself a notebook and I'll write down the formula so I can go over.
Well, you can do that at home because remember I'm taping this.
Oh yeah, gosh.
Yeah, you take notes, right? That's why I'm taping it. Okay, so now I'm going to go the other direction. Let's say I have this equation. I have y equals. So I want to do.
JY the science guy, right?
Let's say I have y equals x squared. Sorry. X squared minus 6x plus 8.
Right.
I'm going to do this a couple of different ways because this is a couple of different questions that they could ask you. They could say, what are the zeros for that quadratic? How would you find the zeros for that quadratic?
We find where it intercepts to x.
Okay, so what do I do to this equation then? Set it equal to 0 because that's
okay.
when y is equal to 0, right? If I have some kind of function and it's crossing there and there, what is the y at those 2 points?
The y?
Uh-huh.
0.
It's 0. That's why that number is 0.
Oh, that makes so much more sense to me now. Okay. Wow, wow.
Little piece that they don't ever say. They just assume that you know, right?
My head just like exploded.
Okay, so now I'm just going to put the 0 in there and then solve for x.
I feel like someone just like showed me a whole new reality.
I'm glad I could be it. I'm glad I could be part of your eureka moment.
Whoa. Okay.
Okay, so now what can I do to this in order to solve for x?
Get everything on different sides, right? No.
Factor.
Oh
that.
no.
Yes. Factoring rears its ugly head yet again. Wait, but by the end of the year, you were actually pretty good at doing factoring.
So let's see if I can remember it.
Okay.
That's the big question. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I've said okay. All right. So many times now. Let's see. Okay. You don't have to like do the little thingy.
That is not the picture of this function, by the way. I was just showing you a picture of what that means.
It's okay.
So that is not the picture. The picture is actually over here somewhere. It's actually like over there.
I got you. All right, hold on. So. You have to give me the first step, and I can probably jot my memory down.
What times what equals 8, and what plus what is equal to?
-6. There we go. Okay, yeah. And then you have to so it'd be 4 and -4 and -2.
Now what do I do with that?
And then it's x minus 4, and then x minus 2 equals, and is that it?
So what is x equal to? That's one more
I didn't
step.
forget all of it. Okay.
That's why you probably missed it on the thing, because this is kind of exactly what they were basically asking you to do.
Yeah, factoring. Oh gosh.
So what are the two x's then?
Is there a lot of factoring on the SAT?
Yes. Yes. In so many different ways, it's ridiculous. Yes.
Find a meat graph.
Anytime you see a quadratic, you need to think factor. Anytime you see an exponent, almost, you need to think factor.
So basically, just bring a cup of bleach to the SAT.
Just bring a jar of Vaseline.
All right. Okay.
So what's x equal here?
Multiply, right?
No.
What?
I said each one of these equal to 0 separately,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
So what happens to the sign of these two numbers when I'm solving for x?
They switch?
They switch. So what are the two x's then?
So x plus 4. And
4 and
2.
Those are your two answers. And that would be the answer on the SAT.
Okay. So then you just set, so after you factor, you just set them both equal to 0. That's it.
After you factor, all you have to do is just change the sign of what the x is connected to in the parentheses. Really, that's all you have to do. Yes.
Sweet. Okay.
Okay?
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Now I'm going to show you the other way you can do it. So I'm going to just delete. I don't want to delete this whole thing. Oh, shit. Oh, well. Oh, it worked out. Okay, so you can use this equation if you remember it. X for the vertex is equal to... Oh, so that was solving for the zeros. Now I'm going to solve for the vertex.
Okay.
So remember your vertex is at h, comma, k.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so in order to find your h, you can use this equation. -b over 2a. Does that look familiar? Do you remember that?
No, not in the least.
Okay. This is the b term. This is the a term.
We only ever solve for like certain points on the graph.
And then this is the c term.
Okay, yeah. AX plus BX. I remember that.
Okay, so if I want to solve for h, my h is going to be -b, which is 6, over 2 times
negative
1.
6, right?
No.
Oh, no, -b. Oh, my God. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that number is equal to what?
So -b, hold on, what's it? -b over 2a?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that'd be 3.
That would be 3. Now to find out your k, your k is equal to f of 3. Do you know what that means when I write that?
That means you can plug it into the calculator.
No. That means you take this 3, and every place where you see an x, you plug in 3. That's what that means.
That makes sense. Okay, it's like the g of x of f.
And that's why I wrote it that way, because the SAT is going to write it that way.
All right.
You need to know about functions. So I'm going to plug in 3 there. So this is going to be f of 3, because that's another way of saying y, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to be 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 8.
All right.
So that's 9 minus 18 plus 8. So what is that, -1?
Yes. That's it.
So that means that my vertex is at
3, -1.
3, -1.
Okay.
So remember, k you can write as f of 3. You can also write k as y too. All those mean the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So that's the quadratic stuff. Now, what if you have something that looks like does that factor?
Does that factor? Do I say yes to the dress? Let's see.
Is there some multiple of 20 that adds together to give you 4, or subtracts from one another to give you 4?
No.
No. So you have to use the quadratic equation. The quadratic equation says -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Does that look familiar?
Yes.
Okay, so use quadratic equation and do that math for me.
Okay.
So that's equal to
Oh god, this
x,
marker's dying. Oh yeah. Okay.
which is equal to h.
I'm trying to give CPR to your marker. Here we go. All right.
You can just tell me what to write.
Okay. Cool. 4 plus or minus the square root of -4 squared.
Which is
16 minus 4
times
x. That's a 1
times.
What is that? C times -20.
So what is -4 times -20?
80 plus 80.
All over
2.
what is this?
96.
So we have 4 plus or minus the square root of 96 all over 2. Is there a perfect square in 96?
I do not. Yes.
You got to figure that out, because they're not going to give you a calculator to do this. You have to be able to rationalize
Right, cool.
96.
It's not. There's a perfect square of 96.
So let's write down our perfect squares.
Okay.
What's the very first perfect square you know?
2 times 2 is 4.
Which that's
4
what's the next one?
3 and 3 is 9. 4 and 4 is 16. 5 and 5 is 25. 6 and 6 is 36.
Okay, which one of those numbers divides evenly into 96? I'll help you out.
6 and then do the 4.
Divide it.
96 by 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So 96 separates into 4 and...
24. Would it be 24?
Oh, there's actually a bigger one than that then.
Oh, there. Oh dear. Okay.
What's 24? What perfect square is inside of 24?
12 and 2.
We need one of these numbers. I don't want to use a number that's not a perfect square when I divide into when I'm separating.
Is it 16?
Does 16 go into 24?
Oh, going into 24. 9 goes into 24. No, that's 27. God, my brain's not functioning. What? 4 is the only one that goes into 24.
Times what?
4 times 6.
That's a pair, right?
Yes.
So if you have a pair, they come together in pairs and they leave as 1, right? So this would be 4 plus or minus 4 times 6 all over 2.
I keep forgetting about, like, it's not looking for perfect square, it's just making one of those thingy-majiggeries, the 4 square root of whatever.
Now, I could have done it this way. I could have said 19 or 96 is equal to 16 times 6, and then just take the square root of that and put it on the outside and leave that behind. That's the other way you can do it.
Okay.
Okay, so now I got to simplify that.
Okay.
Does 2 divide into that number?
Yes.
Does 2 divide into that number? So what does it simplify to?
2 plus or minus 2 square root of 6.
That would be your answer.
That's it?
That's it.
Got it.
Let's see what else you're supposed to do for your homework. I think I kind of covered everything.
Can you retake the quizzes multiple times?
I don't know if it locks you out or not.
Different problems?
I don't know. Let's see. So let's start with the right triangle word problem. So I'm going to click practice skills because we have 10 minutes. Maybe you get one of these done. I'm not going to help you though. So that's your first question.
All right. You shall not help me. Okay. Polynomial function P. Right, so big. Okay.
Oh, let me close this.